Hey, what's going on? You know who it is, you know what it is. All right, you guys, peep game. I want to talk about a situation that happened a couple of days ago with Janoris Jenkins. Now, and I just want to once again just present the evidence and ask that question once again: why some people are obsessed and continue to support the NFL based off their double standards and their blatantly racist practices. Now, in case you guys don't know, there was a player by the name of Janoris Jenkins who was recently released by the New York Giants for basically calling a fan a retard. Now, he issued an apology, but then he issued an apology, but it wasn't to the satisfaction of the Giants organization, so they decided to release him. Well, first of all, the Giants are horrible. They are headed for they're a candidate to get the #1 overall pick. They're horrible. They've been a trash organization just for a while, even though they won Super Bowls. They just they're just a poorly ran organization, just like the Oakland Raiders, soon to be the Las Vegas Raiders. But let me get this straight: a man calls a person a retard, and he loses his job, and then basically he says, well, that's just a form of slang where I come from, which it is. Oh, it's funny. So that's derogatory, referring to somebody as a retard, but then you got, white athletes, white NFL players walking around calling black people the N-word, the one that end with the A and the one that end with the ER, and then you got people like me who says that's offensive, but then they don't lose their job. So let me get this straight. Richie Incognito then was known for making racial innuendos and all that type of stuff. So he still continued to work, but this dude say the word retard and he gets cut. First of all, that word retarded was a medical term to refer to somebody that was um, um, well, basically that wasn't the same as other people. They would call it retardation, mentally retarded, which means his brain didn't function like a normal person. So all of a sudden, you had these politically correct people trying to tell people, oh, well, that's like a derogatory word. Just like now, all of a sudden, you can't use the word midget because that's considered, it's funny. Everybody try to compare every word to the N word. Oh, that's like being called the N word. But every time I look around, you got people that ain't black using that word. And then they try to justify by saying it's okay. Oh, well, my black friend said it's a fuck your black friend. And once again, anybody that's listening to this video that's black, that lets somebody that ain't black call them the N word and use it around them, you a mark and you're a coward and you're a hypocrite. So don't talk to me about racism when you letting somebody exercise racism on you by calling you and using that slang around you. Because, oh, okay, so let me get this straight. Like I said, Richie Incognito continue to work, but Janoris Jenkins loses his job. Really? And it's funny, then you got Stephen A. Smith saying, oh, I believe the New York Giants is lying. And it got to be more to it than that. Because he did issue an apology. I checked. Now they got people telling you how to apologize. This kind of reminds me of what they did to Janet Jackson over the wardrobe malfunction thing. Janet Jackson issued an apology immediately, but then they kept having her, asking her to come to award shows. Hey, we need you to apologize. Look, I already done said I was sorry and I apologize. So they uninvited her to the Grammys because they want her to issue an apology. And that's the thing. With us, they want to bring us down to our knees. They want us to, now they telling us how to apologize. No, we don't want you to say you're sorry. We want you to say it like this. Really? And that's funny though. Janoris Jenkins loses his job, but Tim Ryan gets to keep his job. But then again, go figure, because you got a bunch of handkerchief heads defending him. Where's the defense of Janoris Jenkins? Why didn't people say, hey, you know, we got his back. See how these people get down? See how we get down as a whole? People ran to the rescue of Tim Ryan. But why didn't nobody stand up for Janoris Jenkins and say, hey man, he shouldn't have been cut? A lot of these NFL players, a lot of them just in a sunken place. And it just got to be said, man. Tim Ryan get to keep his job, but Janoris Jenkins got cut. He lost his job. Let me get this straight. You just recently had a white guy saying a dude was so black to where you couldn't see the ball. But then you got a dude that say the word retard and they make it look like that's the worst thing in the world. It's just funny how these groups try to just reach for stuff to try to, categorize themselves and put themselves in the same position as black people. Get out of here. Real talk. Stop it with that foolishness. I hate that stuff. Where people try to say, oh, well, this is almost as bad as being called the N-word. Well, why do y'all continue to use the N-word? Shut the fuck up. This your boy Town Biz. I'm out.